And that comes back to what I think you're talking about, is that recognizing that our flow is not just my flow, but our flow is a collection of flows that come together like tributaries of a large river. And we're all flowing together. And when we flow together and the streams are not clogged off and lose their vitality, then we have something that we can share together, which is really vital. And the fish life and the other uh, botanical life of the river grows because we together are contributing to it.
I, uh, Somebody asked me what my favorite word was a little while ago, or what was the word that meant the most to me. And I thought about it for a long time. And I'm lucky I live in a nice house. I've got a nice car. I've got all the bits. Um, and where I settled was peace.
Huh.
And it wasn't about fulfillment. It wasn't about happiness. It was just to feel peaceful. And I think you're the African women are looking for peace. They're looking
Yes.
to be able to be peaceful in their existence. Uh, you know, the 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 people who live on the streets, and I can't imagine the hardship.
I,
But they're looking.
I think
Go on.
what you're describing in your book is a pathway to that.
I kind of hope so. I kind of hope so, and I hope it's not a strategy for success. And I know that I said that in the last conversation we had, but I think it's that it's align your mindset to your whatever value or virtue you can have.
Yeah.
Uh, and if you can live purposefully and you can hook that to your virtues or your values, then life starts to behave kind of differently, I think. And I think I said last time, I've made some mistakes in business and I've made mistakes in my personal life, and as we all have. But I think as we become purposeful and mindful, and we find out what our values are, and then we transcend values and we get to what's your virtue. And I don't mean that in a kingly, godly sort of way. I just mean
Right.
what's your moral compass?
Yeah.
For me, my moral compass is driven a lot by flow, and keeping understanding it. I don't have all the answers about it, but I know it's a way of being, and I think that if we can take that way of being and subjectively use it as individuals, and then get that confluence, then we start to develop something special.
I totally agree with you. I love that, and I like I like what you're doing. I in particular, I like that you have not just fallen into the trap of creating a label that you put on whatever you want to put on. That you're actually addressing it in a very deliberate and active way, and I think that's why your book has real value. I think people should read this book. If I can put it, oh well, there we go. I think people should read this book because you're going to find that it's going to lead you somewhere that you're not now at.
And I appreciate those words, Ed. Thank you. I think that the kind of one of the guys I interviewed was a guy called I've forgotten his name. Mark Wilson, Professor Mark Wilson, and he said the problem with flow is measuring it. How do you measure it? And I talked to Led Hamilton, and I said to Led, and it's in the book, how would you measure flow? And he said, colors of the rainbow. And I was like, okay, if that works for you, that's good enough, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
That's fantastic. And if it's a scale of 1 to 10, that's fantastic. But I think take that responsibility and that ownership for your flow, or mental resilience, or mental toughness, or whatever you want to call it, and find your path by alignment and attunement and accountability and responsibility for choosing the life you want to choose.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Well, Cliff, I thank you for being on here. It's been great.
Thank
I've been looking forward to this for months, maybe
thank you
years,
for having me
maybe
back.
years. Um, and
We-
I wish you well
Thank you, and
um,
you.
in all the things that you are flowing into, because sounds like you haven't stopped. You didn't write your book and say, "Okay, now I'm done." No, you still got more to do, and I think I totally understand that.
Well, I think you're an exemplar of that with the with your output and your thoughtfulness and your deliberateness about what you want to contribute to life, which is really interesting about everything that you do, the Circle of Impact and the Eddy podcast. And it's that deliberate contribution in a way that is enabling for lots of people. And the fact that your next guest today is a 16-year-old, how fantastic is that? That's as good as it gets, right? Who knows
It really is.
what might happen for that person.
And she is sparkling. And I interviewed last Friday a 26-year-old, and it may be the best podcast I've ever had. And
Fantastic.
so I will say this: I am extraordinarily hopeful about the future. Doesn't
Me
mean
too.
it's not going to be hard to get there, but I
No.
look at these young people that I'm meeting, and I just love them. I mean, that's all I can say. I wish they were all my children because they're such special people who have a sense of the world that most of us who are older do not have. And I celebrate that.
Well, I think that it's just that it's their world now, right? It's we can't visit the Gibran. You can't visit your children's world, not even in your dreams, because it's their world. And all we can do is live our legacy
But
every day, enabling those that come next.
it is their world, but it's the world we gave them, and now they're having to fix it. Yeah, that's the way. I'm writing a novel about them, and it's called Answers to Questions Never Asked.
Okay.
And when I say that to them, when I say, is this the way it is that you're given answers to questions that you've never asked? They said, oh yeah, that's exactly the way it is. I said, well,
Yeah.
you have to go ask your own questions. And they say, yeah, that's right.
So
So
when I was when Maddie had a first great year at school, and the kids only had 10-year-olds, and they only had one question. The question was why, and they'd learned the question from teachers. Why are you late? Why are you doing that? Why haven't you
yeah,
done your homework? And so I gave them an equation. The kids, I gave an equation, and it was BQ plus BA equals BC. And Cliff, what's that mean? So if you ask a better question, you will get a better answer. And if you get a better answer, you can make a better choice with stronger resolve. BQ plus BA equals
I
BC.
like that. That's very good.
And thank you. But it was for the kids, deliberately for the kids to get them to ask that who, what, when, where, how.
But they need to feel that they're empowered to ask their own questions.
100% empowered and enabled. Ed, thank you for your time.
Thank you, and look forward to further communication when we get a chance, and
I'm sure
maybe we'll be together in physical presence one day. I'd like that.
that will be wonderful. And I'm looking forward to answers to questions never asked.
It's going to be great. It's going to really be great. Okay. Thank you very much, Cliff. And thank you all
Take
for
care.
watching. And we'll see you next time here on the Eddy Network podcast.